So welcome back guys to We Talk Boxing, and today I'm going to be talking about Anthony Yarde and his latest performance against Ralfs Vilcans. Now this fight took place on the undercard of obviously Adam Azim and Harvard Davis, and it was a mixed performance for Anthony Yarde. The fight itself went the distance. Anthony Yarde won on points. Victor Lachlan, the referee, scored the fight to Anthony Yarde, 98 to 92. Now, for me, the fight was a little bit closer, um, probably on the scorecards. But obviously, Anthony Yarde, I do feel that did deserve to win, but probably not by that big of a margin. But it was, as I said earlier, it was a mixed performance, and Yarde just didn't look himself, his usual self. He didn't look as fluid. His defense wasn't as good. Even defensively, he looked like he was struggling to let his hands go at time. And I feel as if he had he just in his head he had just the power shots that he was thinking, oh, I'm just gonna throw this power shot, throw that power shot, because he knocked down Vilcans within the first 10 seconds of the fight. So he probably thought to himself, I could knock this guy out or hurt this guy whenever, like anytime I want, sort of thing. But him believing or perceiving that he could do that hindered his performance in my eyes, and it wasn't great. Now, that sort of performance when you're coming off a fight like that against Ralfs Vilcans isn't going to put you in good stead, for when you're fighting against the better opposition in this division, such as your Buatsi, which everyone is calling for that fight in the UK. Everyone wants to see Yarde versus Buatsi, but at this present moment in time, from my perspective, Buatsi's probably another gear ahead of Anthony Yarde. And I don't mean in terms of ability or skill or experience or anything like that. I just mean in terms of sharpness. Obviously, um, Buatsi's coming off two good fights. He obviously fought against Dan Aziz, and then he's obviously fought against Hutchinson not long ago, and obviously beat both of those guys, put in a brilliant performance on both fights. So for me, he's a little bit sharper. So I would probably edge more towards him if these two guys were to fight next. It's sad to say, I don't want to sit here because obviously I want to see the Buatsi and Yarde fight next, but I feel as if Anthony needs another fight. He needs another fight before taking the Buatsi fight, and it needs to be a decent opponent. But the only reason why I want him to have another fight is because he's got some ring rust. He's not quite up to speed, and if you just these are my thoughts, and I believe if he does go in there with a Buatsi next, he will lose. He will lose. Like, he was getting caught left, right, and centre now against Ralfs Vilcans, and Vilcans' jab in the end was half decent because he was catching, he was touching Yarde many times, and then he was letting his hands go with threes and fours, and I was like, Jesus, Yarde never lets his opponents realistically do this against him, and um, yeah, this guy was teeing up on Yarde, and I was thinking, what's going on, sort of thing, and obviously Yarde must have felt quite relaxed, comfortable in taking those three or four shots because he wasn't troubled, he wasn't phased. I'm guessing Vilcans didn't really hurt him, but it's just the case that you got outboxed, and that's not normally the case for Yarde. But let's see what happens next. As I said, I would prefer Yarde to probably have another fight before he takes on Buatsi. Another decent opponent. It doesn't have to be anyone special, but a decent opponent just to probably blow off a bit more cobwebs, get yourself sharp, look good, and then go up against Buatsi. But I can't see that happening. I do believe that maybe February, March. I think I've heard a couple of little things on a grapevine that obviously AJ Dwyer maybe February, and then is it Chisora, so such and such might be January, and there's another event maybe in March, so he could be on one of those cards. I can't see it being a main stadium type of fight because these guys won't sell out Wembley because they're not that good enough to sell out Wembley. They're not bigger names like AJ. Um, But I do feel as if it's too good to be unlike, let's say, an O2. So this fight for me would probably be in, let's say, Saudi Arabia, um, on the undercard of a bit two bigger names. But that's my thoughts. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comments below. How did you see Anthony Yarde's latest performance? Was you happy with his latest performance? And what would you prefer him to do next? Would you prefer him to go up, you know, what I mean, straight away against someone like a Joshua Buatsi, or would you prefer him to have another fight just to get up to speed and get sharp and look good before fighting against the Buatsi? As always, guys, please let me know your thoughts in the comments below and subscribe. Bless.